dwellers. Hosted by your boy Jacob Santoro and Christian Talone.
You're blabbering about unnecessary stuff. Cut it out.
Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe button to get all the updates from the channel too.
Tell me what your hand's doing over that button first.
But for now, just loud shout and kick back, cause I got a fresh one right here delivered to your speakers. Lock in.
Happy Friday, everybody. I hope everyone is having a wonderful holiday season. Hope everyone took my heeded my warning, is that how you say it, and got their Christmas shopping done. I, not to brag or anything, have absolutely dominated it, so if you haven't, get on my level. But today, you may notice something different. I do not have my spunky, short Guatemalan friend with me, but instead, I have a new friend, actually. I just did your show.
Yeah, man, that was a blast.
It was
so
a blast.
Glad you came on.
Yeah,
that was,
man.
That was fun.
Things Beyond Sound podcast. The host Spencer. Thanks for coming on, man.
What's up?
Welcome to our basement, as people love to point out all the time. It's
Yeah.
not a real basement, man.
Yeah, good luck paying for a basement in Arizona.
I mean, I'm glad you understand it. People just don't know, It's like,
Yeah, dude, I work construction. Like, I've had to dig in Arizona. It's not fun.
I mean, we didn't even go to the moon, for God's sakes. I mean,
I don't know. Allegedly, we did.
you're now going to strap in for 2 hours of that.
Yeah, I don't mind. I'll talk about anything.
I was actually pretty excited when I was on your show. You got me all excited right around when we were stopping. You're like, oh, I could talk about aliens forever, dude. And I was like, fuck.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I try to keep up with Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp
Yeah.
on the Weaponized podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've actually released some crazy shit recently.
Really?
It's been cool.
Like what?
Yeah, they released this conversation they had with a colonel that they had this conversation like 1997 in Vegas, and they just released it like for the first time on their podcast like a week ago.
Yeah.
You got to go check out that conversation.
I'll
It's
have
pretty
to.
crazy. He talks about like how he actually interacted with an alien. Like he had a story about it, and it's like, wow, like is this guy like
That's
real?
so perplexing. Like, it's just like, because it's like no one's looking at that right now because, it's expensive to live,
Yeah.
So it's like, that's like that's the funniest post-ironic thing I've ever seen, like in my life, is that finally the government was like, okay, I don't know what you want from us. Like the government's real, or the aliens are real. Like,
Yeah.
but nah, dude, like why was gas $4.50 in Phoenix? Like, you know what I
Right.
mean? So, I mean, I wanted to get more excited. But also,
Yeah,
I mean, the fact that we have naysayers in 2023 is also just so perplexing to me.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, there's a lot of people who depend on gasoline being expensive. So if we were to discover something that took away the need for gasoline, so there's a lot of people with a lot of money that don't want this technology out.
I don't remember if I asked you, but are you a conspiracy guy? Like, do you entertain, like, just like the idea of just fun little conspiracies?
Well, some of them are fun. Some of them aren't so fun.
Some of them are not pretty good. But like
I mean, people do conspire,
Yeah.
right? People conspire in secret all the time. Like, what is the Federal Reserve doing?
right.
Like, nobody knows.
I don't even know how money works, bro.
You don't know
Like,
what they talk about. Like, nobody knows how, like, that shit works. Like,
Right.
most people don't. So it's like they conspire and run all these global schemes all the time. What else is going on?
Right.
Like, how can you say, like, oh, I've never heard of it, so it's not true?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
a little. See, but then on the opposite perspective, though, it's like, like I mentioned, it's like in 2023, I can't believe we still have like conspiracy naysayers to a lot of things. But I got an argument with a guy, a stranger. There's like, yeah, but I say the same thing about my belief in Jesus Christ. Like, why don't you? And I'm just like, oh, come on, man, come on, dude. Like,
I mean,
I've seen UFOs. I haven't seen JC.
What if he is like an alien?
Right.
I mean, shit, he came back and like taught the humans a bunch of shit. Like, hey, like you guys need to settle down with all this shit. It goes down a bad road.
Yeah, wasn't that a thing too? Like with the Mayans is like, isn't like the like depictions of like it looks like spacemen.
I mean, there's a lot of shit. I mean, Egyptians go into it. There's like shit from Peru. Like there's all sorts of shit over like all over South America and the Middle East. Both of them have like similar like symbols, and it's really weird.
I'm sure there's another media example of this, but one of my favorites is when in like the first reboot of the Star Trek movies.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? And like they find that they discover like that uninhabited like tribe, or like that tribe that has no idea that other things exist, right?
Yeah, sure. That's classic Star Trek.
Right,
dude.
you know what I mean? And then so they're like, oh shit, we gotta get out of here, and they like run away, and then like Kirk tells Spock like, come on, dude, like we're fine, like nothing's gonna happen. And it cuts to like the tribe like drawing like the spaceship. You know, it's like, oh shit, you know, like that totally had to happen, right? Like that makes so much sense. It's hard for me to not believe those things, especially once I'm inebriated.
Oh yeah.
Oh, dude, I want to hang out with Jesse the Body Ventura when I start going down the rabbit hole. Like, remember his show, his conspiracy show?
I don't.
Oh, dude, it was. I mean, do you know who Jesse Ventura is?
Yeah.
Like, he's an insane loony bin, but he's just like, we went to the FBI and we met 3 men to talk about the magic bullet. And it's like, yeah, it's like, oh, tell us about the JFK assassination. Like, I get all soaked, but I have like 25 beers. If I'm sober, I don't want to talk about it because I'm like, all right, loony bin. But once I have a hit of weed or enough beers, I'm like, take me there, you know?
I'll talk about it. Like, tell me things I don't know.
Would you go if there was a 10-year expedition to go to an inhabited planet that they've had communication and the other side was like, yeah, man, like come, like let's come check us out. Would you go like to go see aliens?
I mean, that sounds like a really specific situation, but yeah, sure.
Would you sign up to go like be like a precursor of like this is first
To
contact?
be like an ambassador or something?
no, like you just like, hey, like we're gonna put people in a raffle of like we're gonna pull random
like
Americans.
a colonist?
Yeah, dude, like we're gonna find like random Americans of
geez.
all kinds.
No.
No?
I wouldn't trust our government to like facilitate that safely. They would like hand you a gun first thing and be like, good luck, buddy.
Here's a gun. All right, do America proud, right?
Yeah.
Follow-up question. Do you think aliens look like us?
I feel like if they can like manipulate matter in things on scales we don't understand, like who's to say they can't just look like anything they want?
Right.
They can just make a biological drone that just, they can telepathically tell it what to do or
that'd
some
be
shit.
sick, yeah.
We could do that to cockroaches.
Yeah.
You install a little computer on it and
Yeah.
you can like tell it how to walk.
It's kind of the way I look at it because it's like we've never like sent an aircraft to another planet.
Yeah.
So it's like you have to be super advanced, right? If you can make it all the way over here.
Yeah, there's actually a guy from Arizona. He his name is like Travis Walden or something like that.
Okay.
He was like a lumberjack in Heber, and I guess he had an encounter with a UFO. There's a UFO that came down, and he ran towards it just to see what it would do. And his friends were like, "No, get back to the car!"
Right. Yeah.
And he got zapped by it, and I guess they like abducted him. They took him after it zapped him.
Yeah.
And this is all his account. So he like wakes up in another place, like on a table, and he grabs the nearest thing he sees and just starts swinging at these aliens. And then at one point in the story, like he's just there alone, like they left, and then a human walks in and like guides him out, like holds his arm and like comforts him and doesn't say anything. And he's just trying to ask questions. His adrenaline's like rolling, and it just leads him out of the room, out into a room he couldn't even describe, into another room, and then like I guess he like blacked out and then woke up again.
When was
But
this?
this was like in like the 80s, dude. This was like a while ago that this happened.
We
But,
used to have like a fad of like abduction support groups. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, they used to be a thing, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. But like this story specifically has that one detail where like a humanoid figure walked in. Like it looked like a human, like how do we know they can't just do that?
I'm just a firm believer that there's no such thing as a peaceful alien, dude. I don't know, man. I refuse to believe. Like maybe you could think like we have just been having the same question of like, oh, there's other life out there, but we're more advanced. I just feel like it's like one of those things where I'm like, well,
I think it's like bleak.
yeah, it's
Everyone out there's fighting already.
kinda, like we're seriously like in the 40K realm. Like it's
Yeah.
just all war. You know what I mean? Like that is like it's hard for me to just believe like that we're not going to be used as like cattle.
Yeah, or it's so far beyond like our imaginations.
Yeah.
Where it's like our human desires and wants are just so pitiful.
Yeah.
They're just looking at us like these fucking
Like,
insects.
like we're a reality show, like on South
Yeah.
Park. I think they did that on South Park.
like how the elves look at the dwarves
Yeah.
in Lord of the Rings. They're just
Yeah.
like gross.
I know. God, that's why I fucking hate elves, dude. Yeah, of course. Follow-up
So
question.
we're obviously just gonna fight the aliens
Yeah.
right away.
Right? Yeah. What are you looking at? You ugly. Yeah. Follow-up question. Do you take home an alien girlfriend to meet your parents?
No.
No? What if
No,
like
dude.
it's all the same, but they have like blue skin, and like maybe they look like the people from Avatar, and you guys click on everything.
Oh well, in that case, sure, yeah.
Yeah, it's like you go on a date. Like, would you go on a date with an alien baddie?
Yeah, I can't be xenophobic.
Right. Of course not.
That would be bad.
That would be. You got to give them a chance. I mean, we've had this discussion as roommates collectively. Like, okay, what about this? Like, what if they had this? It's like we all kind of learned that we'd go pretty far. Like, as long as it's
Well, it depends. If she was weird, I wouldn't date her in the first place.
yeah, that's true. Yeah.
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 Everybody has standards, right?
I'm always afraid that my girlfriend's gonna find like a super stud alien man.
Yeah.
Like when they come down, and I'm just like, all right, well, they're like, in our reality, podcast never existed, and she's like, wow, I'm so sold. Like I don't have to deal with that anymore. Like, bye, awesome.
That'd be unfortunate.
Yeah. Do you ever have you ever had your girlfriend on the show?
No, I haven't.
No, not like I don't want to say like, oh, she's not interested, but it's just like one of those things. You're like me.
No, not really. I mean, like my show just focuses on getting like musicians on from bands and things like that. I mean, there's no real format, so I guess it wouldn't be impossible. It's just yeah.
I could just interview anyone. This is my favorite thing. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't matter who it is. It could be my fucking mailman. Like episode 175 is gonna have Jacob's mailman on. Like,
Yeah. I mean, I've interviewed people who aren't in a band. Like I don't know if you know Alex Brady.
No.
But he's like one of my most watched episodes, and he's just never been in a band.
What's
he's
he
just
do?
a fan that goes to all the metal shows.
Oh, cool.
He goes to shows like almost every weekend.
That's awesome.
So I had him on, and it's like one of my most popular episodes.
Nice.
So because everybody knows him.
Yeah. I was trying to think if we had any mutual, and I think the one that we have is Tyler from Louis on tour.
Yeah.
I've had him on like 4 times.
Yeah, I had him on. Had him on for an episode.
It's one of my favorite guys. He's a really cool dude. I love how like intellectual he is because he's still like a college educated guy, and he's
Yeah.
also very like what do you call it? Intertwined with like. I feel bad. I guess what I'm saying is because he's just like, oh, there's episodes where like, oh, the housing markets. And then he's like, oh, this is what it's like to juggle, like record deals with bands. This is what it's like to promote yourself. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. Do you want to see this deer get hit by a car real quick? Because that's pretty hilarious. You know what I mean?
Getting real into the industry.
Right. Yeah. Like, so it's like, I'm always like, so do you prepare when you have like musical guests on?
It depends. Most of the guests I have on, I already know them, and like they're my boys, and I've seen them play several times at like house shows and whatever.
Right.
I don't really prepare for those ones. If I've like never heard of somebody before, or if I'm like, just cold messaging people, and like, I got an episode coming up, I'll listen to their band just so I know like, what genre it is, and like.
That's so hard to do.
I've even gone out to see them live before a podcast. Like that's my research.
Yeah.
Like go see the band.
Okay. Yeah, it's so hard for me to cold call. I feel so bad.
It feels weird, but like how else am I gonna?
No, that's a solid point. Yeah, no, I mean you really are just trying to sell yourself, but especially because I'm selling myself. Like when I was reaching out and doing like just for photography, I was trying my best to sound natural and not like a bot. You know what I mean? But I don't want to just be like, hey, what's up? And it's Jacob. I do photos. Hit me up. Like you got to really, but it's just like they read it.
Yeah.
And then 2 weeks go by and you're like, oh, it's hard for that rejection, man. I think we said on your show, like my biggest thing is like, hopefully like no one ever tries to debate me from this show because I don't know how to. And I don't know how to handle with you saying like, nah, that's wrong, dude. I disagree with you. Like, I think you're a fucking moron. Because I'm just like,
Yeah.
like what did why? Like, what did I do?
Well, just don't talk about anything disagreeable.
I show my belly more times than I care to admit, dude, in all honesty. And it's like I get sent, like my mom will send me like these like videos of just like, because she also just gets like podcast reels. And it's like, dude storms off, on a show. Because she knows it's my nightmare fuel. Like I'm always afraid of like upsetting. Like we talked about on your show, it's just like how like I will go to great lengths to not fight anybody. It's like I'd rather just do whatever it takes to be your friend, man. Like,
Well, I think those highlights you see where people like storm off and shit, like they know that like they're playing their character. They're famous people that are doing that shit.
No.
Like they're already like well-known people, or the podcast just talk shit. That's what they do, is try to piss you off.
Right.
There's podcasts like that where people walk off and they start this shit for like the dramatic value and try to push a storyline. Like I wonder how much of it is even real.
right. I think it takes a special breed to just be a professional dick. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
Like I was watching because like when I was growing up, like I didn't know half of what like the Howard Stern show was talking about. Like I had, you know what I mean? Like I would just listen with my dad, like on the way to school, you know, just like ah ha ha, Baba Booey, Robin, what do you think? Ah ha, you know, like. But watching like these like highlights of just how he would invite people on for pure chaos is like my worst nightmare.
Beetlejuice was like my favorite.
Yeah.
And he was constantly pissed off.
Artie Lang was one of my favorites. I grew up to really like him too. But yeah, Beetlejuice. I mean, but again, it's like I know why you're on here, man. You know what I mean? Like that's why like I'm just like, how do you do that? Like I feel like I'm so like I try to be so like society conscious of like and having a social contract of like because like you know like those bait videos where it's like because the worst format I hate is where it's like 2 Sigma dudes versus like 9 like they're like, oh, these OnlyFans models come on and they just roast the shit out of them. It's like, or they try to by just be like, oh, like you, what are you, what value do you have? I'm just like, how are you not anxious this entire time? Like, I
don't know. Maybe that's like their fetish. They get off on that shit.
But it's like also like the quest for views. That was the hard thing for me too, is because like every video I've watched on YouTube about like this format is like you got to have killer thumbnails, you got to make killer TikToks, and like yeah, dude, sometimes you kind of have to like, you won't believe when you know, or it's just like guest, you know, goes off on Jacob, wait till the end. And all it is like, they're like, well, I just disagree, dude. I think that's really dumb. You know? Like, and I hate that because I hate that bait and switch. Like when I'm sitting there doom scrolling TikTok and it's like, you won't believe your eyes when you see, and it's like nothing happens. And I'm like, well, I wasted a minute and a half of my life.
Yeah. I don't honestly like my marketing is really, really minimal. I just make a Facebook post, dude. Yeah. So I'm just growing by word of mouth. I'm just trying to get people to like notice their friends on the show,
right?
And then trying to like watch other episodes that way. I'm not trying like I haven't even made any reels.
Yeah,
like the only reels I have are this band Alliance. I had this guy Scotty and his buddy Isaiah on, and they made reels for me after their episode, and they just tagged me as a collaborator. And that's the only reels I have on Instagram. And they were seen by like a couple thousand people. And I was like, holy shit.
Nice. Yeah, that's sweet. Yeah. I mean, is there a reason why you don't? Is it just because like is it like this like a fun thing? Like,
I'm trying to make it fun. I'm just kind of like not trying to add too much at once. I'm kind of just like trying to build this slowly so I don't get overwhelmed.
That's a good way to look at it.
If I try to add too much at once and try to take on too much, I'll just quit. And I don't want to do that.
Starts to feel like work. That's my problem.
Yeah, that's what I'm afraid of.
Yeah.
I don't want it to. That's why I do like minimal video editing because that shit takes too long.
Oh, this whole thing is 10 minutes max. You know what I mean? Unless there's something that like I used to have people sign that just said like, hey, I'm in charge of just essentially what comes out. So if you record or if we're recording and you're just a shitty person, but I think it's going to be good for good radio, you're allowing me to do that. In 100 episodes, it hasn't happened. So it's like I normally don't. The only time I really edit is just like if we just really trail, like me and Christian trail off into something that's like real snooze fest. I'm like, all right, no one cares about that except for, you know.
I wish I was that cool.
What do you mean?
I wish I was cool enough to need that paper, dude.
I was afraid, dude. Like I said, I started because I was just like, I was so afraid of just like, I've heard of people just like, oh, you put words in my mouth, or like you're editing this in a way where it's like, you know, I'm saying something, but I'm really not. And it's like, nah, like, no. But I was like, you know what? Like, I got less than 500 subscribers. Like, it's not like it's the end all be all.
Have you had any guests that like you actually thought was gonna say some crazy shit?
No.
Like where you were like, here we go. Like,
actually, yeah. There, my original host Robert had a friend named Bodie. And it wasn't like he was a bad person, but he was just very like, I'll just say what comes to mind because I'm like a shit posting, live in irony kind of person, you know. So it's like there were times where I was like kind of really crossing my fingers, like please, you know. I had a comedian on, Mikey McKernan. He's a Los Angeles dude. He came out to do a couple shows. Decided to come onto my show. I knew him when I lived in LA, but. Again, comedian. I'm like, ooh, like I'm kind of like.
Are you afraid of like strikes from YouTube?
No, I think like I said, like okay. So I know that like you know the usual butt in that chair, Christian is really good at like if something were like, we know how to change the subject. You know,
yeah.
It's for me. I'm just so bad in the moment with confrontation. It causes me to shut down. So like I'll tell you a story that I don't think I've really said on the show before, but the reason why I no longer have Robert as a host is because he was like, popping off on my ex. Like we were talking about, I think we're talking about like the Astro World event.
Oh, okay.
And where those people died, and
That's pretty sensitive.
It is very sensitive. It's like what. Then the whole point was just, hey, it sucks what happened. Security let it happen. People didn't take it as seriously as it should have been. My ex had the same opinion, and I don't know if he was just, I don't know what it was, but for some reason he chose to just be like, nah, man, it's dumb music. Like if you go to those, like you're dumb. Like. And so me in that situation, I'm like, okay, well, let's just move on anyways. Well, my ex at the time, she was like, well, no, like that's not correct. And now I'm sitting, and this is before the video format. So this is all audio, but I mean, if the video was on it, I mean, I was sweating bullets. Like cause I don't know what to do, especially when it's my show, but there's two people clashing. And it's just like, I mean, names were said. I mean, he stormed away. She stormed away. I never released the episode. I know, dude. And it was just a nightmare. I tried, like, they both were over. Well, I kicked him out. I was like, nah, dude, you're done. Like, leave. And then obviously she wasn't in the mood to fucking keep going. So I tried to, like, painstakingly get, like, 10 more minutes in the show where I was just like me, And I was like, nah, dude, this isn't going to work. We're done. Like, so it's not that I'm afraid of getting like striked because anything could be censored, anything could be removed, anything, like that's fair. I think that like I thought in 100 episodes that I would gain some kind of, because I've had like playful debates, but no, I just suck at it, and like I just fear it,
What debates?
Yeah, just immense disagreements. I mean, if you're gonna tell me it's just like, oh, like I'm a PlayStation guy and I'm like, oh, I'm an Xbox guy, like I will never get heated about that. But it's just
I
like,
just keep asking people why. If I disagree with somebody, I just ask them why, until I can figure out like how the fuck they got there,
right?
And whether that be like religion or politics, like I don't care. I'll talk about anything just to learn how you got to where you are. Like that's pretty much how I avoid like heated disagreements. You just try to get to the root of it. Like, why do you think that? Like, why do you believe? Like. Why are you being so cynical about this shit?
I could do that. I could definitely do that. I think it's just once it starts getting loud.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I didn't want to do this, man. Like there will never be a situation like that will come from me. Like I've made it very clear that, I'll even say like on this show, it's just like I put the link for Ceasefire Today. Like feel like I'm very pro Palestine. Like like I've been following that a lot, and it's just like I haven't had anyone say shit since then. But it's just like I do loathe that conversation eventually, because in my mind I'm like, why are we arguing about something that like I'm sorry that I'm pretty sure I know I'm right, like this is a crazy like.
Yeah, I mean, you can look at the history and even a brief history of it shows quite a few years of people getting fucked up.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of crazy how people keep throwing the word around unprovoked, unprovoked attack. Like, come on.
Right.
Come on,
dog.
like don't call this unprovoked. Like, was it horrible? Yes, but like Israel's been doing some fucked up shit for a while.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm not afraid to say that either.
Right.
Like, but
You go against the grain.
I don't care. Like, I look at things, I look at knowledge, and I look at facts, and I try to like make my own conclusions. You know, my conclusion is that like the Middle East is kind of a fucked up place. They have some weird customs and some weird traditions, and sometimes these thousands of year old traditions turn into violence.
Right.
Over years of oppression, and like it gets pretty crazy. Shit we don't see here in America.
Right.
Like,
and I think that's just like so my whole thing is like I will keep everything out of conversation. And so what kind of like what we talk, I'm gonna reference our show.
Yeah, sure.
A lot where we were saying, like how angry I get at strangers. Or it's just like it's because it's like, I know the social contract to not do this. Why are you doing this? Like I put that expectation on the general population. So if I'm at Thanksgiving and one of my family's members says the word Bidenomics, I'm like, dude, I'm halfway into carving this turkey. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so that's kind of like, that's like, so I'm just like, please, dude, like we're having a fucking fun. If someone comes on the show specifically wanting to talk about something,
yeah,
I'm open to it. I'm not going to deny you like entry to the show. even though your opinions are different than mine, like let's talk about it.
If it's civil,
If it's civil. And so I'm a firm believer that the problem with debating is that you spend hours and you just stay on the same side that you were to begin with. And now we're just both pissed off, right?
yeah, you have to come in with a mind of like trying to learn something.
Right.
You know, even if you're learning like what got them to that decision, or maybe you're even open enough to like change your mind. Like, please tell me how I'm wrong.
Right.
Like, that's my favorite thing to say. Like, tell me how I'm wrong. Come on. Like,
That's a good boyfriend trope. I like that. That's a good boyfriend. You know what? A theme in this show consistently is we try to teach the men of our generation a little bit better hygiene, a little bit better social skills. Huge nerds. We go to nerd stores all the time. They're the stinky guys, you know. They're also very emotional shutdown. Always ask that question, guys.
no, you got to be damn sure before you ask something like that.
Yeah.
Because that'll start waking up some creativity in your girl. You don't want that.
Yeah.
So yeah, you better be damn sure you're not wrong if you're gonna say some shit like that. Dude.
If it's one thing I've learned is that I usually am. Right?
I'm usually wrong too, man.
Little science has helped me. So, you know, we've been doing our show about the same time. You started in 2019. Give or take, because you've been doing it for about 4 years.
About 2.5.
2.5? Oh, I don't know why it said. Oh, you know, I was confused. Is because I saw 44 videos on your video count, so that's where I got the 4 from. But about 2.5, and when you, so we'll kind of just re-explain it for my viewers. So, what got you started to doing it?
Well, it was me and my buddy. We wanted to just start a podcast talking about like global politics and just talking shit about
My nightmare.
all the crazy shit going along around the world. Like me and him have different views. You know, he's like a little more on the conservative side. I'm a little more in like the center,
Yeah.
like libertarian, like dead center. Like,
Yeah.
like be free, do whatever the fuck you want. I don't care. And we'd have some fun conversations back and forth just at work. So we decided to start a podcast about it. We quickly ran out of things to talk about. One of our episodes went wrong. We had a call in. Somebody called in, and the entire audio on his side just didn't get recorded. So when we got done with the episode, like none of his audio came through. So it was just us talking
dead
to a
silence.
ghost.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was just pretty bad. So that kind of like killed it for us. And then I scheduled a bunch more episodes with just my buddies in the music, in the metal scene, you know. And Kevin didn't really want it to take a music route. He wanted to stay on politics. And so I just continued. I just changed the name to Things Beyond Sound and continued it with you know, musicians and stuff.
Was that your one and done name, or did you kind of have a list?
Me and him tried to make a name called Not Your Podcast, and somebody else had it already. And when I messaged him about it, like they hadn't released an episode in like 3 years.
Yeah.
And I messaged him, and he said, "You can have the name, but I want 1% of everything."
Fuck
and
you.
I was like, "That's pretty funny if that's a joke."
Yeah.
And he just never responded.
Yeah,
I was like, "Fuck that guy."
you. Yeah, no way. Yeah, well, I take 1% on the back end. Like,
Yeah.
who are you? Like,
Some like super gay podcast. Like it was actually like super gay.
hey, yo, fuck, not your podcast.
Yeah. Like, it was pretty bad.
That's a good one. What about any other names?
Then we went with Kevin and Spencer show.
Like that one.
Yeah, it's pretty solid.
That's a solid name. I love a good podcast name. Had an episode with a girl named Kelsey. I wish I knew her last name. Phenomenal lady. I mean, she works downtown. She has a local zine and like the music stuff. And are you familiar with the Oasis House?
I've heard of it. I don't think I've ever been there.
It's a Tempe. It's like a house show place.
Yeah.
And these dudes rent it. These guys from a local band called Eonthe, who's also on the show. Their bass player, I think, lives there. But anyways, that's where I met her. She talked about she was in like the Navy, and she talked about how she just became full like red pilled, like libertarian, like fuck like everyone's watching you, like all this crazy shit. But at the end of the show, she was like, "Oh, I wanted to start doing a podcast where I smoked weed with my best friend, and we called it Hi Girl Bye Girl." Because they're like just two bi chicks, and I was like, "What a fucking cool name!" And like for the longest time, I was like, "Did you start it yet?"
Catchy.
Did you start it? Yeah, it's so catchy. I wanted to do locals only. That was taken. I really loved locals only, but then I
Yeah.
was also like, that sounds like a tough niche. Like I feel like a shitty hardcore guy. You know what I mean? Like, and then I tried to come up with something like Yeah, like I was gonna be like the man children show or like the man child show, something like that. And then I just landed on Basement Dweller.
Kind of the same.
Okay, like
same
it's just some
thought
kind of
process,
category
yeah.
where it's just like I like to smoke weed and play with my fucking Warhammer action figures and.
Yeah, it's a pretty impressive setup.
Thank you. He's actually, I'll give him credit because he's out there dying in his room right now. But he painted all of those. Those are his guys. The only guys that belong to me are at the very top shelf over there. But I only can build them. I have shaky fucking hands, so I can't do any of that stuff.
I've always wanted to try to paint some.
Yeah,
Dude, I'm pretty good at painting. I like
Yeah,
that
dude.
shit.
I think that hobby is such a good hobby for just like it's got everything. It's like if you like the models, build the models. If you like the lore, read the books. If you want a strategy game, play the game. You know what I mean? Like it's so fun. And we had a huge. We still play. I mean, it's been a long time, but that's because of me. But yeah, that's what we do. And so we were just like, yeah, Basement Dwellers. You know?
Yeah, I can't get into that game, dude. I'd spend way too much money on it.
That's our problem. And I feel so bad. Like.
I spent so much money on Magic cards that like I look back at my collection and that keeps me from buying anything else. Except comics are still my weakness. I like comics and not like Marvel or DC. I like all the indie like, Image and Dark Horse and shit like that.
Was a huge Spawn fan growing up. Always thought he was my favorite. The guy that voices him is one of my favorite voice actors of all time. Oh fuck! Now I'm stalling on his name, but like he's in everything. He was in fucking Modern Warfare 2. He's in fucking. You know what I'm talking about? The guy that like voiced Spawn in like the animated series.
I mean,
the old black dude.
I can picture him. I don't remember his name though.
Yeah, he was in Secret Agent Cody Banks. If anyone remembers that movie.
He was, dude.
Yeah, God, remember that movie, dude?
So stupid.
I know, it's such a fucking. Do you ever like look back at movies you thought were just the tits growing up, and you're like, I'm gonna give it another chance, and you're like, oh.
I mean, I've gone back to like cartoons or like kids shows that I was like, dude, I used to watch this all the time.
What was your
And I
jam?
go watch it. I mean, ones that were bad later.
Well, how about just like okay? So let me ask you this:
because there's ones I can rewatch again.
Oh, same. But were you more of a Nickelodeon guy or a Cartoon Network guy?
Cartoon Network.
Cartoon Network for sure. Okay, so good.
Nickelodeon had its jokes.
Yeah.
But like for overall content, like plot lines, like Cartoon Network had way better shows.
100%. What was your jam on Cartoon Network?
I like Samurai Jack. Anything by Jenny Tarkovsky, dude.
Yeah.
That guy is a fucking genius.
Yeah.
He's a legend. I liked Teen Titans. What else?
She's like more of like the action-y kind of.
Yeah, actiony. But then, dude, I liked everything on Cartoon Network. I watched Ed, Ed and Eddie,
my
Courage the
favorite
Cowardly
one.
Dog.
Yeah, that was
I watched
my-
Johnny Bravo, like all of them.
It was that one and Billy Mandy. I could watch
Billy
those
and Mandy
two.
is like
Yeah.
my favorite.
Yeah.
They have scenes that will melt your brain.
Yeah.
Just like you feel like you're on acid just
Yeah.
watching the TV. You're like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah. I don't even know where we were going with this, but yeah, no, Cartoon Network was the jam. Oh, I remember because it wasn't a kids movie at all, but like I remember watching like a year ago. I now pronounce you Chuck and Larry.
Oh, geez.
And I was like, what a fucking offensive movie this is, dude. And I know that it's supposed to be like, hey, gay's okay.
Haha,
but
they're
like,
gay.
yeah, you know, and that's how I felt also with like Don't Mess with the Zohan.
Yeah.
As I was like, silly Palestinians, and like, you know, like
Or anything where like a dude cross dresses in a kid movie.
Right.
And they're like, everybody laughs. Ha.
yeah. What did we watch on the way home? We watched
It's just hilarious.
We
but-
fucking watched Shallow Hal. Dude, have you seen that movie?
I
With
saw-
Jack Black and
Yeah, a
fucking
long
Gwyneth
time ago.
Paltrow, dude. And the whole premise, do you remember the premise?
I remember
Yeah,
that
so
movie,
a womanizing Jack Black, which is hilarious. Now, I've misremembered, and like for the record, he's a loser in that movie too.
Yeah.
But fucking 1990s motivational extraordinaire, Tony Robbins gives him like a curse that essentially just makes him see in their eyes what the person sees them as. And the amount of just heinous fat phobia in this movie is so unreal. And again, they tie it up in a bow and they're like, hey, it's okay to be a big fat tub of shit. It's just love you for you. Like, it's so fucking crazy. Like, how,
Just marry her anyway.
yeah, dude. Yeah, come on, man. Don't let her go to fucking South America. Like, come on, dude. It was and it has fucking it has George Costanza in it with like a black, like horrible black hairpiece. Like, yeah, dude. There was another one. Like I was just like, and this is
They got away with some crazy shit.
insane. Like I mean, it's a trope now. There's so many shows, comedians, whatever, that have talked about this. But there's another one I saw recently, Soul Man. Are you familiar with that movie from the 80s?
It sounds familiar.
A guy wants to go to Harvard and he gets denied and he has to pay his way through. However, he finds out that there's a tuition specifically for African American students, and he does the Robert Downey Jr. like pigment surgery.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and so he's just a white black guy, and he just is like, "Come on, brother, man!" Like he's like, it's so insane. Like
Dude, I gotta look that
it's
movie
so
up.
crazy. It's called Soul Man, and it is what's going on?
Do you remember Juana Man?
Oh, Juana Man. No, which one was that one? You got it. All right, hold on. Our producer here is.
Like a basketball.
Hold on, I'll look it up. How do you spell it?
It's like Juan.
That
Man.
sounds really familiar, Joanna, man.
He's a guy, kind of like washed up, like basketball player.
Yeah, let me see.
He dresses as a woman.
When a pro basketball player, Jamal Jeffries or Miguel A. Nunez Jr., gets booted from the big leagues after an outrageous on-court stunt, his unwillingness to give up the sport leads to desperate measures. Dressed in drag, Jamal calls himself Juana Man and becomes a star player on the women's basketball team, helping them climb the ranks. He also develops a crush on team captain Michelle, but cannot act on his feelings for fear of the true identity being discovered.
Damn.
Wow.
Watch that with my dad.
I would like to meet the person that's like,
That's-
you know what movie rocks?
That's
Is
actually really
Juana Man.
that's real.
That's real.
It's real now.
That's what I'm saying, dude.
You know, Ben Shapiro and like all the Daily Wire guys
Yeah.
are making another movie about that.
Oh, like
It's called Lady Ballers, I think. And they're literally like doing that. Like the whole team is tired of losing. And so they all transition to females and play in like the WNBA or something. Like that's the Daily Wire is making this movie. Like I can't wait to see it. It's just gonna be such a shit show.
red-blooded Americans are so fucking stupid and insane, dude. They're just like, yeah,
It's gonna be so
well, this
bad.
is what America is now. Yeah, because they did the school shooting movie,
Oh,
which
yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know if you ever saw a review on that or watched it.
Just saw like reviews.
I watched it.
I didn't watch it.
It's every fucking. It's as horrible as you think it is. It's got every fucking trope in it. It's
I'm good, dude.
yeah, it's so crazy. And like, I'm definitely a firm believer that it's just like, I think the goal here, because there's people like, oh, you just can't make jokes in movies anymore. Like, it's just, you don't got to punch down anymore. I think that's really the only thing.
Yeah, there's a lot of directions to go. I mean, you could. It just depends. Like there's a bad taste in punching down.
Yeah.
Right. Like, what's the punchline?
Right.
For school shootings, like
Right.
what's the punchline?
Right.
You know, there's nothing funny about it.
Right.
You know, but like punching down at like a Circle K worker, like they all fucking suck, dude. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, man. There's something about those dudes. Like Circle K will hire anybody.
Yeah. Some of them are pretty, yeah.
There's jokes there.
There's a lot of GTA NPCs that work at Circle K.
Oh yeah, dude.
But I would say that a tried and true American is a man who works at a 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
God bless those
This is
people.
why I like Clerks.
Yeah. It's a good one.
It's literally a movie about the gas station workers.
Yeah.
It's fucking hilarious. They're punching down the whole time in that movie.
Do you know how many white friends I had that quoted that movie when he talks about his racist grandma and what they called them and stuff like that would just say that at the fucking cafeteria, like, or just people like, yeah, it's just I don't know, it's just saying. So yeah, fucking Juana Man and fucking yeah, dude.
My
like,
favorite was White Chicks.
white chicks. So that's a
That was
reverse.
two black guys dressed up as two white chicks.
Yeah.
And like acted like preppy white chicks.
It's the West,
it was
it's the Snipe. It's the Wayans
Yeah.
brothers, isn't it?
it is completely fucking racist, like
Yeah.
super racist, but everyone loves that movie.
Yeah.
I love that movie. It's fucking hilarious,
Yeah.
dude. It's funny every time I watch it. It's like, wow, they got away with this.
They did it. They did it. I mean,
Holy
look
shit,
at
dude.
look at like I mentioned already. Look at fucking Iron Man's blackface. You know what I mean?
Dude.
Like,
fucking Tropic Thunder.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah, that
he
movie
did
is
it.
great.
Yeah, he talked about it openly on like when he was doing his fucking press release about it too.
Yeah.
I think-
Ben Stiller made a comment. They tried to question him on it, and he's like, "That movie is great, and it'll always be great."
Yeah.
Like he said, "I'm not gonna talk about it."
It's I think that there's just a mix or there's a vibe
yeah.
that it's hard, like, you know, that it's hard to like tell how to explain it, but you could feel it. So when you look at a movie that's in poor taste versus a movie that's just fucking hilarious, it's like, what is the secret sauce there?
Yeah.
You know, like, because it is hard. Because yeah, I mean, again, we're going back to Soul Man, could never in a billion fucking years do that.
All right. So let's say they make a movie where two white chicks
Yeah.
have to dress up as black guys, and we'll call it Black Guys instead of white chicks.
Yeah.
You think that would work?
That sounds like two comedians that have a Patreon would be like producing.
There's no fucking
Yeah,
way.
there's
Dude.
no way. Like that's gonna get denied.
I don't think the female card's gonna go on that
No
one.
way.
I don't think it's gonna work.
But that's what I'm saying is that it's just like the problem is that you look at people like Ben Shapiro and like the Daily Wired guys, like they have money. They're all they're all privately funded.
Oh yeah.
So you could just do whatever you can just do whatever you want. It's just, do you want to? You know, like, do you want to? So my first question would be, do you want that movie made and why?
I
would use
don't
the
want that
Spencer
movie
method.
made.
Yeah.
But if it came out, I
watch
would
it?
probably go see
I'd
it.
probably go see it.
Yeah, I wouldn't let that one
I don't know
pass,
why
man.
I feel like I'm looking down from you at some ivory tower. I would go fucking see it. Yeah, without
Like,
hesitation.
I don't know, dude.
What is your
It
opinion?
sounds like it might be funny.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Hi, Basement Dwellers. This is just a friendly reminder that if you'd like to be a supporter of the show, you can do so at our Patreon at patreon.com/Basement Dweller Productions. We have 3 tiers of subscription. You can do 5, 10, or 15. Also known as the Basement Bay. If you do the $15 subscription, you do also get a one-of-one art piece by yours truly. We would really appreciate it. We can definitely use the support. So, love you guys.
What is your opinion on cringe videos? Like open cringe?
I don't really watch cringe videos. No.
That's my fucking source of power,
I
dude.
can't do it, man. People, it's just too bad. I watch like animal videos, you know, things that make me laugh, and then car crash videos.
Yeah.
That's like my
Were you-
dark
were-
place.
were you a
where I go
Live Leak
to.
kid?
But what's up?
Were you a Live Leak kid?
Lively kid?
Like remember Live Leak, like the video service that would have like
Live Leak?
yeah, like cartel beheadings.
No,
and shit?
no, I stayed away from that shit.
Did you have a friend that was?
Yeah,
Everyone did.
My buddy Kevin, who I did the show with, dude, the crazy one. Yeah,
Yeah, you're out
He,
here just looking at sports fells, and he's like, "Dude, look at this lady getting her fucking head cut off."
Yeah, he's
right
like,
now."
dude, I found some terrorist videos on this website. I'm like, that's really cool. Like,
Yeah.
I found some porn.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like a normal fucking 13-year-old.
Right.
Like,
Here's a question, because I've talked about this like with many people. Can you comfortably admit, and it's okay if you don't want to, but did you watch that with your friends growing up?
I mean,
Not like for the purpose of like, you know.
when we were young and we were like curious and like never really looked up porn.
Yeah.
Like, you know, we found like a Playboy mag when we were like 10, you know, just like on the street outside the school.
Oh,
So
dude.
we were like, oh, dude, what the fuck? This is dope.
Yeah.
Like, this is awesome. You know, we would like type random ass questions into Google that would like lead us to porn sites.
Like
but like, we
boobies?
weren't, but after that, after about a year of that, you know, being curious, it was probably like, you know, we didn't really talk about it too much. Other
had-
than like jokes.
I had friends that had like sleepovers, and it was like a pay-per-view event. Like we were coming over and we're gonna watch some shit together.
Yeah, I don't think I ever did that.
Yeah, no, isn't that weird? Like
If my friends did that, I was never invited.
yeah, it's funny. We also had the it wasn't a magazine, but it was in Vegas. My friend got like those like strippergram cards that people pass out. They're like for escorts.
Yeah.
So like they'd pass them out to you, and it's like the girl's name, and it's like
Oh,
like
yeah,
you know
yeah.
like her number and stuff. And they would, if they were like nudies, they would have like little like stars or whatever on
Mm-hmm.
their private parts. Dude, we all just felt like a band of like shady thieves. Like we were just like, well, these are cool. I think I want to take these home and I'll show my other friends. And they're like, oh no, we're gonna keep them here. I'm like, nah, I think I should take them. Like, dude, it was so weird, like how primal like my friends were about like boobies. Like
So weird.
when you first like do you know how many times that I will shamefully admit that I watched the first American Pie movie when, for the record, talking about the movies that are just not okay now, they were 100% spying on that foreign exchange student dressing just so they could get a glimpse of her fucking bazoombas.
Yeah.
But like as a kid, I watched that scene probably a collect like if I die
just
and,
wishing that would happen to
yeah,
you.
or I just fucking pause it and just be like, "Whoa," you know, like if like I always say, like when I die and heaven's real and I get to the gates, all I ask is that there's some kind of baseball stat card that like that will show me things that I want to see. Like I want to see how many hours I spent on a paused frame of the first American Pie movie because it was unreal.
Yeah.
So if you were there, this goes into a next question. If you show up to the pearly gates and you had a Spencer stat card, what are the 3 stats that you'd want to know, like what you've done?
Like stats.
Like time spent doing this, miles walked here, time at concerts.
Oh man, that's a hard one. I've
I
never
know.
really thought about that.
I know we ask the thought-provoking questions here.
No, you know, let's make this interesting. How many How many animals have I hunted? I
Oh,
don't know. I don't know how many animals.
you're a hunter?
I was when I was a kid.
You look like
I
a
haven't
hunter.
hunted in a while, but I want to go elk hunting again. That would be dope.
That'd
But
be
I keep
sweet.
putting in. I just don't get drawn.
Oh, that's lame.
I just don't get a fucking tag.
That's a cool one.
Really
Oh, that's
annoying.
badass. How many You know what I said? How many hours spent pissing? That was fucking way sweeter than what I said.
How many hours spent pissing?
Yeah, like how much
not
like
bad.
like from start to end, like how long would one stream of piss be in my entire
mean-
life?
That's creative.
Yeah. And then I also put how many hours spent at work not doing my work. I also wanted to know that one. And I think the last one was how many calories in total have I eaten in my life?
Total calories.
Yeah, eaten.
You know, I might have to steal that one for number 2. I want to know that too.
Maybe I mean, even though you're going to eternity and like in paradise, you might be like, oh man, that was kind of fat shit.
No, I won't feel bad. I just want to know. Curious, dude.
Yeah, right.
There's some days where I.
That's what I'm saying. A lot of people go for the gross ones. We've had some gross ones, and we've had some really boring ones.
What's a gross one?
Like just buckets of jizz made. Like some guy, I don't remember who it was just like
Yeah,
how mu-
I don't think I'd go there.
yeah, like just
No,
like
I'm good. I'm
time
good.
slamming ass. Like I don't know, just like some like real dude ones, you know.
Yeah.
Or I wanted to know like how many gallons of beer did I drink? That's a pretty cool one. I feel like I'd be shocked. I'd be like, really? I feel like it wouldn't be more more than that.
Yeah. I don't know what my third one would be though. I guess how many hours I've spent drawing.
Oh, okay.
I've drawn a lot, like in high school and stuff.
What was your go-to inspiration for like drawing? Like what did you like to draw?
Mostly like tribal, kind of random, like I don't know, kind of fluid spikes and drops kind of shapes. But it was always with a black pen.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'd use pencil and try to draw like people and like cartoon characters and stuff.
Kind of like your shirt. Stuff? Like your shirt?
No,
Oh,
I
that's the
can't.
shirt you were talking about, the
can't
band
draw
shirt
this.
you got.
Yeah, this is from Thra, dude.
Yeah, I remember you talking
Thraw's
about that.
dope.
Hell yeah. I'm stoked you wore that.
Yeah, this is probably the coolest shirt I have right now.
I wish I could draw. That was the one thing I always wanted to do was draw.
Yeah, I mean, I've been trying to get back into it. I got some paint pens, and I'm trying to I got some little canvases too, and I sprayed them down with some spray gesso. I'm gonna try to get the fine tooth, like pen, the fine point, and
you
try
ever
to
make
draw
you-
some more tribal stuff.
Did you ever make your own comics as a kid?
I tried, but I'm not good at drawing the same thing more than once. You know, I'll draw a character, and like the next time I draw him, I'm like, that doesn't look the same, and I like try too hard, and I don't know if there's like a technique or something to draw the character over and over again, but I just never figured it out.
Yeah, Christian's an artist. He actually did the teeth behind you. He did
Oh damn,
this- This one here, he painted for his sister.
Is those paint pens?
I don't know.
looks like it. That's
yeah,
cool.
and then he did my favorites up there, the samurai.
Yeah,
He
that
gave me
looks
that
dope,
for a
man.
long time. So I appreciate a good artist. But that was the one thing I always wanted to do. Or I wanted to be 6'5" so I could dunk. I've always wanted to dunk.
6'5".
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I used to have a basketball hoop that I lowered when I was a kid.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Kept it to like white people levels, you know, like
Little, little kid levels.
Sure, or that would probably
I
be
could
more
probably
respectable.
dunk if I trained.
Really?
I don't want to train
On a
though.
10-foot rim?
I can jump pretty high, man. I got pretty close.
What are you,
when I
like
when I was
6
in
foot?
football in high school,
Yeah.
I was pretty close. Yeah, I'm 6 foot. When I was a lineman in football,
Yeah.
my legs were so strong because we would just do squats all day
Oh, yeah.
and like jumps and like I
You
would
look
just
like a
focus
pretty
on my
bigger
legs.
dude. I mean,
Yeah, I have pretty good muscle. Like my genetics help me build muscle.
What is
my,
your-
my dad and my brother are both pretty big.
what's your background? Like, what's your ethnicity?
Like I've heard German and Polish, but I've never done one of those
I
tests or
can't
anything.
believe that with
But,
this
I don't know.
hair, dude. Don't tell me that. No
I mean,
way.
my dad's heritage, like I guess he's like German, like either German or Austrian, something like that. But it's like European.
Really?
But yeah, I don't know. I can't remember anybody saying like any sort of ethnicity that would give me some crazy hair.
I thought you were gonna say like maybe like Spanish, or like
maybe it's there.
yeah, dude. I mean, you just
knows?
I just can't get over. You look sick, dude. I mean, like you look like how I wanted to look when I was a kid. Like
Thanks.
yeah, yeah. Dude, I was obsessed with the singer from Slayer, dude. Like you look just like him. Like I'm like super stoked on that fact.
I get the dude from Coheed and Cambria. a
that
lot.
too. Yeah.
Claudio Sanchez.
You know, we just on the way to California, that "Welcome Home" song came on like our early
Oh, yeah.
2000s metal playlist, and her sister was just like, "No, I've never heard of this song," and I was like, "Are you fucking for real, dude?"
Guitar Hero.
anything. that song was on like movies, dude. Like that song. What was that movie? It was 8 or
I think
9.
it was because of Guitar Hero.
Yeah.
Like
was
it got popular because of Guitar Hero.
Yeah, dude. And then like the music video came out and he rocked like the double like SG neck.
Yeah.
Remember that? Dude, that guy was the coolest dude for like from 2008 to 2009-ish. Like, and I only know that one song.
Yeah.
But I did not even put that together. As soon as, dude, I felt that come into my body as soon as you said that. I was like, that was a dope song. Like if you knew how to play guitar when you were a kid, like everyone knew how to play that song.
Or they tried.
Were you a fan of that band, Coheed and Cambria?
Not really, no.
Yeah, me neither.
I was more into like System of a Down
Yeah.
and like heavier stuff.
And-
Like older even. Like Metallica and Iron Maiden. I listened to them a lot before I got into like death metal. I started getting into like heavier stuff like Amon Amarth for a little bit.
Some sweet Viking metal.
Yeah, and I got into like heavier like like growling lyrics and then I found Black Dahlia Murder and just got heavier from there. I don't know.
Do you know Amon Amarth had a sponsored Magic the Gathering commercial?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
like-
They were part of a whole
Kaldheim. Yeah, it's like it was like their Viking realm. And so they're like, "Hi, my name is whatever from Amon the Marth, and today we are playing."
Dude,
Magic."
I was so excited for that set to come out, and then I looked at all the cards when it came out. And I was like, "This is garbage, dude. I don't like any of these cards. Like, I don't want to make a deck."
Oh, dude. No, I mean Magic is like Yu-Gi-Oh now. It's just like there's so much words on a card now. It's just
Yeah.
like I feel old. I can't keep up anymore.
Well, I mean, they introduced different mechanics.
Yeah.
That's why I like playing standard. Is because like some mechanics go out.
Oh, see, I'm a modern
know.
tryhard. I play modern.
No, I can't do it. That's when it's like too much.
Expensive too.
Too much text. I don't know enough cards. Like standard is like you have, fucking 60 cards. They all come out of the same set or like 3 sets,
Yeah.
and like you build a deck the best one you can out of 3 sets. That's it.
See, for me, everyone gives me shit for this to this day, but I am a meta chaser. Like, I love to win. That's one of my favorite parts of the game is to fucking win. So I would be like, oh, well, this is clearly like, oh, that's cool. There's Eldrazi, like you, whatever. Oh, ninjas, that's sweet. I don't give a shit, dude. Like, if it's going to put me 5-0 in locals. But now, like, the housing market, like, Magic is insanely overpriced. I mean, there's decks that are over $1,000 right now.
Fuck that.
It's insane.
No.
I wouldn't have a girlfriend if I did that.
Yeah.
Like, now. It's insane.
You got to be Post Malone to play Magic, pretty much.
We talked about that on the show for a long time about how he bought that card, and he came out of the woodworks out of nowhere and was like, "Oh, I like Magic." I'm like, "What? What?" And then so we talked about the Lord of the Rings thing and like the
I
one.
believe him.
Oh, I believe it too.
He seems like a huge nerd.
Oh, he does, and I'm just saying, like, never talked about it. Like, it's so crazy. Yes.
Also, I heard he smells.
Oh, I bet he smells. He looks like he smells.
Yeah.
I mean, what is he like? He just chain smokes Camel Crushes and drinks Bud Lights. Like, the only difference
Yeah.
between him and like that dude you see at
There's
like,
got to be times where he doesn't.
yeah, I'm sure, but.
He's a busy dude.
A lot of times, though, you know what I'm saying? Like, I see him stream. Have you ever watched him stream?
No.
Dude, he lives like
He showers once a week.
Dude, he I have seen some pretty sad streams in my life, and I gotta tell you, he treats himself as like an old man from Arkansas with a computer. Like, he literally just like chain smokes cigarettes in his fucking multi-million-dollar Utah home, slams Bud Lights all day long.
Not all heroes wear capes.
That's right, dude. Oh, I think he's a cool dude. I mean, from what I've been told, he's nothing but a pleasure. You know, like, I'm just saying that, like, it doesn't.
I'd love to meet him.
It's like Henry Cavill playing fucking 40K. I'm like, great. Now that's the fucking standard. You're just the sexiest man alive.
He would stream The Witcher during the production.
Yeah, dude, he's a huge fucking. So it's like, that's what people always say. It's like, you can't be a nerd. That's why people were, well, now they're mad at him for different reasons, but like that Matt Rife comedian.
Yeah.
It's like, you can't be super sexy and funny. I mean, come on, dude. Like, you can't genetically knock it out of the park, right? You know?
Well, he's probably a dickhead.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there was this whole thing where he essentially just alienated half of his fan base, like minute 30 seconds into like his new special. So he's kind of like in the hot seat now.
Oh, really?
He just like slammed into fifth and just did like a huge like domestic violence joke.
Domestic violence joke?
Yeah, he like was like, he like started because the build up to this podcast or this show being released, like most comedians, if they're gonna have a special release, they go on like that whole circuit, you know, and they talk about it. And in all the ones he was on, he was just like, well, the only reason I have such a huge he's got like 18 million like followers on TikTok. He's like, it's because my looks, like girls come to my show and like they just like embarrass themselves in front of their husbands and they're just like, oh, can I grab your ass? And like he's just like, I just want people to like me for my content, you know, like it's hard to, you know, just boo-hoo. You know what I mean? I'm just like, oh, that sucks. Like you could start a podcast tomorrow and you'd have 150,000 subscribers by Sunday. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to hear this
You'd
shit.
pay your rent.
Right, you know, but so like minute and a half into the set, he's just like, he like says like he gets like seated by a hostess that has like a black eye. And he was like, oh, you know, God, is that who you want to represent the company? Like, why don't you put her in the back, like in the kitchen? He's like, well, if she could cook, she probably wouldn't have the black eye. And I'm like, oh, awesome. Like, so he just really hard veered into like, yeah, like, you know, and so now he's just, people are just like, what
That's
the
a
fuck?
hell of a starter.
Right. You know, I think that's the other thing I always fear too, is like, I'm just like, how many beers is it going to take me to just accidentally just like fucking make a whoopsie?
Well, I mean, if you're not trying, I
Yeah.
don't think you're ever gonna get to that level.
don't think so
You know,
either.
like you got to be trying to be edgy and trying to fucking catch people's attention in order for their attention to be caught. You know, if you're not going for the wildest joke, saying the wildest thing, like nobody's gonna pay attention.
I mean, do you ever feel like there's like a joke brewing, like when you're talking to someone and you kind of have to have that battle, like, should I say this?
I mean, during my episode with Dakota, I made a joke about the Gaza Strip having a Bellagio fountain.
Oh, damn.
You know, I thought maybe they'd like to, you know, enjoy something.
You know what the worst part about it is in our format is that like you would like to hope when that gets released, like people who listen are like, you know, but it's just you and your guests.
Well,
so.
I mean, if you want to hear the full joke, you got to go back to the other episode.
I'll
I
check
made
it
it
out.
just sound terrible right now because it is.
Yeah.
But I delivered it way better.
Yeah. No, there's been many times on this show where I'm just like, and I'm just like, oh god.
Yeah.
Like, so I've definitely tried, you know, but that's like another thing that I always fear for no reason. I just want to do a good job. Like,
I always wanted to try stand-up comedy though.
Really?
You know,
did
just
it for
to
a
go
few
up
years.
there and like, you know, I have like a notepad with some jokes on my phone.
What
like
stops you?
I've been making it for like a year, just kind of like writing little premises down.
you know, we both live super. Have you ever been to Toso's? Oh, it's a bar right there off of the 17 in Union. And I used to perform there all the time. Like, there's videos of me performing there. Like, and I did it for a little while. I had fun.
Nice.
I got sick of like the same thing I was telling you like with music. As I was just like, this is just a chase. I don't really want to chase. Like,
Yeah.
I know it takes years and years. Like, I'm not saying like, oh, I bombed once and I was over it. I bombed thousands of times. But you know, like, it just, you know, I just stopped and I wanted to do this instead.
Did you have a podcast at the same time?
No. But I kind of thought about starting to.
Because like I mean, they kind of go hand in hand.
Yeah, they do. No, they totally do. You're absolutely right. And I think it was a good way to like start networking people. My only problem, and I really hope that like if I make the jump to do stand up again, like this doesn't hinder me. But like another thing that I am just like, you got to keep in mind the location that we do this. I live with other people, and so it's like I have to really wholeheartedly trust that you're not going to be a fucking psycho. You know what I mean? And with a lot of comedians, I've only had 2 or 3 on the show, and they're pretty okay. Like they were good guests, but like I'm just waiting for like some dude who's 45 who's still trying to make it, but he's like trying to do like the woke anti-woke comedy. Like he's like, oh, I could do what Bill Burr does, and he just comes on and is just trying to be as offensive as possible.
Just nose dives right
Yeah,
into the
dude.
fucking
And I'm
ground.
then I'm gonna have to be like, yikes. You know what I mean? Because I'm not gonna entertain it. Like I do fear that. But you should do it, man. It was really fun. And also it's a really good way to get over a fear of public speaking if you have that, but probably not.
Well, I do, and it would suck. Dude, I would just sweat bullets.
Oh, yeah, you
the
do.
First few times, I would be drenched.
Yeah.
Like every time I'm talking in front of people, it's like that. Every time I'm like working, even at work, somebody's watching me fucking turn a screw. I'm like,
Can't do eye contact. Yeah.
like it's not about eye contact. Even it's just like I'm being observed. You know, they're like watching me do it.
yeah,
you know?
it's a
like,
gross feeling.
dude, there's gonna be like 50 people. Like if I ever make it to a place where I'm getting paid in comedy, it would be a large crowd of people, all their eyes on me. I would be sweating so bad.
If it makes you feel better, and this is the thing that because what does everyone freak out about is the bomb. It's like telling a joke that you worked really hard on and no one laughs. That's going to probably happen at like an open mic where it's mostly comedians. But every now and again, you are going to have the opportunity to do it in front of just strangers. And it is their intention to laugh. So it kind of cushions the blow. But the hardest thing is like when I was in Los Angeles and I was doing open mics 5 days a week, 4 nights or 4 shows a night, you know, like just going all over the place, doing shitty 15 minutes going. And like 80 plus % of the crowd was other comedians.
Yeah.
So they're not going to laugh because they're like, no, fuck you. I'm trying to make it here too. Like, why would I make other people feel like you're hilarious? That could just be me saying, well, I was never funny, but I don't know.
They never told you, so you don't
they
really
did.
know.
Oh, dude, I had friends that ripped me a fucking part. Are you serious? Yeah, that was like half the thing that they were just like, that was fucking bad, dude. That was horrible. It's like, great, dude, thanks. But I'm just saying, I mean, you get laughs. I got laughs from everybody, but like, that's what people fear is that like, but when you do an actual like little like event, people will laugh. I did a 420 show at Toso's right down the street. And dude, I was already late for the show. So I was already anxious. I was drinking in the car. I wasn't driving. I was drinking in the car. I was already afraid. And I'm like, okay, it's cool. It's a normal Tosto's crowd, like whatever. I opened that door, dude. The entire place is packed. All of it. Like every single dude. And I immediately looked at it and I was like, I'll be right back. I threw up so hard in their bathroom. And literally, dude, it felt like a movie. It felt like this is my 8 Mile moment. Yeah, dude, this is my 8 Mile moment. Like, dude, and I literally like just like, wipe my face. I put my water and I literally opened the door and they were like, now give it up for Jacob Santoro. And I was like, oh my God. Like, I did fine. So you pull through.
Should have been filming.
I know. I had a couple filmed and they were good. But it's fun. You should do it. I think everyone should do it. I think that this is not my joke, but one of my favorite jokes is that I forget his name, but it was a comedian that said everyone should do 1 year of customer service like required. Like you should like it is your either whether it be like a restaurant hostess, bartender, waiter, working at retail, like every human on earth should be like you have to do this for a year. And I'm a firm believer that everyone should go up and at least one time do 15 minutes of comedy. 5 minutes, I'm sorry. 5 minutes of comedy.
Just once.
Just once. Just to see how you feel. Because you're either going to hate it and never do it again, or you might do it. The funniest people in my life will never do comedy. And that's what makes me the most sad. And I'm not even biased like friend-wise. I've met people, even in the scene, that I'm just like in the metal scene, I'm just like, you're so fucking hilarious, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they're fucking solid.
Dude, I
like,
met some funny motherfuckers.
Yeah, I'll always say this forever and always. I doubt he'll even listen to this, but like one of my longtime friends, we haven't even seen each other in years, but his name's TJ, and he's just like a fucking 6'4" scrawny dude, and he just plays video games. That's his whole life. He works for Amazon, and he plays fucking like video games. Hands down, I've peed myself like to just the dumbest shit that he says. Like he's so funny, and they'll never do it. And I think it's such a waste. So I think as soon as people say like I would like to try it, always.
Yeah, man, I'm really thinking about it. Every time I listen to like comedians talk on a podcast, I'm like, oh man, we had such a great time, like at the fucking show.
I do it with you.
Like, dude, I go to work.
I know.
I install TVs on walls of like these financial buildings and fucking banks, fucking medical schools, all these rich ass places. I'm like, I'm doing this for like peasant wages, you know, just like installing shit. I'm getting really tired of it.
Well, that's why we do this.
Yeah, and I would love to go on stage
Yeah.
and just fucking make money by like making people laugh.
Yeah.
That'd be fucking insane.
Yeah, our 100th episode, we did a live show at ScaredyCon. It was just like a little like a little horror flea market.
Yeah. How long did you do a live episode? Like how long was it?
An hour.
An hour?
Yeah, and then like so we just had people like behind us walking and doing like all this stuff, and then we were just had my whole setup and we were just talking, you know.
Nice.
Yeah, it was fun. But no, dude, like I'd fucking do it with you. If you hit me up and you were like, oh, dude, I saw this. Like if you made the initiative to be like, I saw this open mic, I would do it with you. If you wanted someone there to do it with you.
Hell yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah, I mean, we'd probably get really wasted first. I would have to get fucking.
I'll just smoke a blunt, maybe two.
No
I gotta get high.
way. I would never.
I gotta get high.
Dude, that is my nightmare. I can't do anything stoned.
I can't focus if I'm not.
Really?
Like I have such bad ADHD. Like if I'm sober, dude, I'm all over the place. I can't think. Like I can't go from step 1 to step 2 to step 3. I'm like, you know, seeing the whole picture. I'm like, okay, what would be best? And like I start fucking shit up. And so like when I smoke, it's like, okay, now I can focus. Like here's the joke number 1. Here'd be joke number 2. Like, oh, that didn't work. Here's joke number 3.
Nah,
like,
dude. That is. I want to. I would
didn't
start crying.
smoke, I'd be
if I
fucked.
was stoned, I would start crying. Like I can't.
Do you get like the paranoia or something?
I just everyone's looking, no one's saying anything. Like that's why I'm at parties. That's why I can't smoke weed at parties. You and I could be having the most normal conversation of all time, and the entire time I'm like, at any moment, Spencer's gonna spit in my face and tell me that I'm a bag of shit. Like that's just like I feel like I'm trying so hard to entertain, and I don't like it. That's why the only time I smoke is when I'm laying in bed. I just want to watch a good TV show. We're watching Ozarks right now. I like to just eat a gummy. I only eat gummies. I don't even like smoking weed. I just have a little 5 to 10 milligram gummy. Don't bother me. Let me go on my phone. Let me giggle. You know, that's about it. So the fact that you could do that, no way. That's
Yeah, dude, I do almost everything high. I like have to, man. Like if I could afford it, I would smoke like Snoop Dogg. I would just smoke all the time.
That's cool.
And it would be better than what I'm doing now, which is smoking as much as I can.
Yeah. I mean,
But that's just my person. Like that's just me personally. Like I know for like I have friends I had in high school who just smoke all the time every day, and now they don't touch it.
Really?
And it's like, okay, whatever you want.
that's
Like I'm not
like,
gonna bug you to smoke with me. I don't care.
that's like her. It's like, I mean, she used to smoke weed in high school, but now,
Yeah.
she'll get paranoid and freak out. She doesn't like it.
Yeah, and that's what I hear is like people get a paranoia
Mm-hmm.
and like
changes.
yeah when you get older, and I'm like hoping to God that doesn't happen to me.
That is a
Like,
scary
I want
fear.
to smoke forever.
Yeah. Would you like if it was weed or booze, you would get rid of booze?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I feel like such a shitty scumbag for saying that I would choose booze over weed.
No, dude.
Well, because at least weed doesn't fucking destroy your liver. Like that's like the way I look at it. But like I've been drinking more than I've ever smoked weed.
Yeah, I mean, I've drinking my fair share. It's not like I'm giving up booze for weed.
It was a hypothetical, my friend. I was just saying.
hypothetical.
Like,
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
I don't want to give beer up either, dude. I love beer.
Beer's too good. You can't, you can't give up beer. That's
Like, why am I picking between these two?
I know. I'm like, I'm like asking you to choose between your children right now.
This
Yeah.
is my nightmare, dude.
Yeah.
Between weed or beer?
Getting sober.
Fuck no, dude.
Yeah, dude. In today's climate, you're psycho. I've heard people just be like, "Oh, I'm 6 months sober." You got sober during COVID? Like you fucking psycho? Like what? It's like people who go to the gym and don't bring their headphones.
Yeah.
It's like you're a fucking crazy
I
person.
bet you go to church.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
the
Nah, there's some
difference.
cool hippie dippies that smoke weed and go to church.
no, I'm saying like if you quit and you're
yeah.
straight edge after COVID, you probably go to church.
Dude,
now,
I knew
too.
fucking straight edge people that were like 20 years old, and I was like, shut up. Like, fucking.
It's hard to believe. Millennial straight edge.
Yeah,
it's
come
hard,
on,
dude.
Come on, dog. Those people, people are just like, I don't touch this stuff. Fucking ruin my dad's life. Fucking. I did not. I did too.
I was straight edge when I was like all the way up to when I was a freshman,
Yeah.
and then
Were you like a DARE program straight edge, or were you like, I don't need that shit because
I wasn't like yay dare, like I'll wear my dare t-shirt. I thought it was stupid. Like I hate all institutions. I have since I was like 5.
fuck yeah.
You know, I was the kid in church asking like how'd Noah fit all the fucking boats, like animals on that boat, you know?
Hell yeah.
I was the kid causing problems for the teenager who's like running the youth class, like, I don't know. Like
I like to imagine
But,
you at the age of like 8, like Lewis Black, like just walking around on stage. "Well, what's up with Noah? We fit all those animals on there? Like
fucking 2 elephants on a boat.
he's smoking a cigarette, like
I don't believe it.
anti-establishment since 5. That's what I would put on your tombstone.
Yeah.
That's hardcore.
Yeah, that would be cool. I'd take that.
So where did you get like a so what started like the weed thing? Did your parents smoke weed?
So my mom was Catholic. Well, she still is Catholic.
Yeah.
So she raised me and my brother Catholic, and we were like straight edge, like drugs are bad, you know. And my brother started drinking before me. He's like 2 years older than me, you know. So he was like drinking, and I was like, oh, what a bad example, you know, like judging him because I'm just a little piece of shit. And so like I started drinking after he did, you know, and then I was like, oh, it's not so bad. And then he never really smoked weed until he was like out of high school. So he didn't smoke weed at all high school. He just drank like a lot.
Yeah.
Like he would get wasted, you know, just crazy shit. Like I never went to those parties or anything, but I would just hang out with my friends and smoke weed. So I went the stoner route. He went the alcohol route. But it was like freshman, like the summer after my freshman year, my buddy Josh and Kevin again, some crazy motherfuckers always there, dude.
Yeah.
But me and them, we had a hookah, and he set up a hookah and put a bunch of weed in it with the sheesh, you know.
Yeah.
And I was just sitting there thinking, like watching them smoke, like, you know, what's the worst thing that's gonna happen? Like, what the fuck is gonna happen to me? Am I gonna like explode?
Yeah.
Like spontaneously combust? Like, is God gonna just send me straight to hell? Like, like give me that fucking shit. Like, what does this feel like? You know, I just started getting curious. I was like, why am I so against?
Did
like,
you enjoy
this
your first time
stupid
being
shit?
high?
Yeah, it was fun. I was hanging out with my friends. It was
hated
dope.
First time of me being high, and I've said this on multiple episodes. First time of me being high is actually recorded on YouTube forever in a video called "Jacob Needs to Shut the Fuck Up," and it's a 12-second video of my friend literally holding me by the shoulder because I can't stop laughing, and he's like, "Dude, you need to shut the fuck up. It's 2 a.m. My mom's sleeping. Shut the fuck up." And I'm just like, and I'm fucking freaking out.
Still
dude.
out there?
Yeah, it still exists. I'll show you when we're done. Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
How old were you when you made this video?
2008.
2008.
2009, so I was like 13, 14.
Damn, dude.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, so- and I
That's
hated
actually funny.
I hated every second of
On
it.
the show.
Yeah,
You should, man. That's fucking hilarious, dude.
Yeah, but it was a fucking nightmare, dude. Like I hated it, and I had a bad experience just because I like not because I was freaking out, but just because I was like I feel so I don't feel prepared for anything right now. And the worst part is that same night I rode my bike home. I texted my mom. I was like, hey, I'm on my way home. It's all 3 a.m. And she was just like, "K." Like she didn't want to start no shit. She probably knew that I was like,
Fucked up.
So I was crossing the street on my bike, by the way, you know what I mean? Like I'm a child. And I remember, so I ride my bike and I could see on my peripherals like headlights coming. But I was like, nah, I'm freaking out, like whatever. And I just, and I felt like and like I was like, oh shit. I think someone did almost hit me just now. Like I
almost died.
I think I 100% crossed on like a green light. You know what I mean?
Oh,
so I was like, I wanted to get my footing and just kind of like okay. And as I go into like the Shell gas station, and it still exists. It's on Dysart in Glendale, or not Dysart in Glendale. It's on Cactus and El Mirage. It's where I grew up in Surprise in El Mirage, and it's right there. It's that Shell gas station. It was a fucking cop, and he fucking veers right in, lights on, stops me. Do you know what just happened? I was like, no. Like, what? He goes, I almost hit you. It's like, oh, I'm sorry. It's like, what are you doing? I'm on my way home. Dude, I think I was maybe pumping at like 190 BPM, dude. Like,
oh my God.
I was like, everything that could have been bad. Like, my mom was almost going to be on a PSA. Like, my son smoked weed one time and he got hit by a car. Like, it was like straight up. And I just came home and it was just like, yeah, dude, he let me go. He was just like, where you live? And I was like, right there. And he's like, all right. But I was just like, oh, I cried on the way home. I was like, like it was, yeah, dude. So, but then of course, 2 weeks later, I was like, yeah, I'll take a hit. Like, so that's always like the weird feeling I've had with weed. So I'm glad you had a fun time. And I've always a firm believer, like I was like, I'll do everything once, like whatever. Like, so I did like shrooms and acid one time, had a blast both times.
I love shrooms, man. That's like my favorite.
You do it a lot?
I wish I could do it more.
Do you do
I
like
just
the
don't have
chocolate
like a
bars?
source. The first time I did was in a chocolate bar. I haven't done it like that since. But it was like on a Valentine's Day.
Oh, that's cool.
And there were these little chocolate cups, and they had like a heart drawn on them with icing.
Yeah.
Like it was, somebody's girlfriend made the hearts
right.
on the chocolates.
Right,
Like we were just like, oh,
Does your girlfriend partake?
yeah,
That's cool.
yeah. And it's I want to use it more as like a, like a medication almost.
Yeah.
Like it's almost like it helps you meditate
Yeah.
in a way where it's like introspective, where you just look at your own life and you just start seeing it through like no bias at all.
Yeah, you're trying to make like a Tool album. I
And-
get it.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
I
dude.
mean, it can be bad or good though.
Yeah.
There was one time I was home from the Navy and I was on leave, and mushrooms don't show up on a piss test. So I was like, cool, let's get mushrooms. Went home, ate mushrooms, and I had a pretty fucking intense trip. And I just started thinking about like how shitty it was to be in the Navy, and, like how I had no friends out there, and like I just didn't fit in with anybody like in my command.
Yeah.
Like there's no fucking metalheads.
Yeah.
Like everybody's
Right.
listening to like pop and rap. Like nobody wanted to go to shows or anything like that. Like it was wild, dude. And that hit me all at once during that mushroom trip, and I was just like, this fucking blows.
Sometimes good for you though. Sometimes it's nice to.
Like it showed me like how bad it really was.
Yeah.
Like, and that sounds like cynical, like, oh, maybe you should be positive or like optimistic about it. But it was like I was trying to be optimistic, and that's what was killing me.
And this is what, yeah.
And it's like, no, I had to see how fucking bad I was actually feeling in order to start like, okay, well, then what can I do?
Yeah.
Like if it is really like, bleak, what can I do to like make it better? And I started like working out, I started
Oh,
doing
cool.
like working on myself. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
fuck everyone else.
Fuck yeah.
I'm just going to do everything I want to do.
Cool.
Like, fuck everybody. Like fuck making friends. don't care anymore.
I feel
And
like
it really helped me out.
I feel like you go one way or the other when it comes to really like even if you want to call it microdosing, you know, like when you just take
I
it
want
a
to
lot.
try that. I haven't tried that.
And I've
yet.
heard a lot of benefits from it. However, like I feel like there's always a split divide where you either, like you said, like you work on yourself, you start to meditate, you start to eat better because when you ingest the mushrooms stuff like that, you kind of accept like the fate of like experiencing altered reality, and it's kind of like a fun thing. But then there's also the side of mushrooms where it's just like, I'm going to live in my room that has no natural light in it. And I'm going to go on Reddit for 15 hours and I'm going to listen to Tool and I'm going to tell some kid about the Fibonacci sequence and the government's at my door right now. Like, I feel like that's the only two like shroom heads I know. So it's like there's no normal dude that's like, yeah, I mean,
my brother kind of just loses his shit and like stares at the wall for
yeah,
4
and there's
hours.
psychos that like that too, and there's like, oh,
He
yeah.
doesn't like it.
Oh,
It's just
then why does
he
he do
doesn't
it?
really eat shrooms a lot, but when he does, he's gone.
Just schizo mode.
It's not even schizo. It's not even scary or anything. He'll laugh and hang out with you and stuff, but if he walks away and goes to his room, like he's probably gonna sit on his bed and just
Yeah, I'm good. You
like
sound,
blank stare at the wall, like lost in his own head. You know, it's like.
yeah, he sounds
Like,
real
where
fun
did
to hang out with.
Fucking
Yeah.
Chris go. Like he's hilarious any other time. Like if you're actually talking with him on mushrooms, like I think it's like to quote Joe Rogan, I guess, is steroids for comedy.
Yeah.
Like I don't just feel like I'm funnier. Like I actually say jokes I wouldn't say sober. You know, like we were making a whole party of people just fucking crack up. And like maybe it's because they knew we were on shrooms, but we
Maybe.
were still saying shit that was
Dude,
making everybody laugh.
that's
Dude.
how I fucking feel about my goddamn relationship. There are so many times where she's like, "You're so funny," but I think it's just because I'm super stoned right now, and she's entertaining that I'm like super stoned right now.
You gotta trust in other
I
people's
know,
perceptions.
I know,
dude.
I know, and I definitely know, but like I also know that I still live the stereotypical stoner things where like we're just watching TV and I'm like, what? And what'd you say? I didn't say anything. Oh, okay. You know, but then I'm just like trying to like tell her a story, and I'm like, I went to check the mail, and I start laughing, like I can't stop laughing, and she's like, okay, you know. But I'm in my head, I'm like, I'm so fucking funny, dude. Like I should have fucking. I gotta record right now.
You got to listen to other people more than yourself. If somebody else is telling you you're funny, that's the important part.
But I'm a firm believer that also that if you can't do it, if like comedy, if you can't do it sober, it's a slippery slope to only do it inebriated.
Yeah.
That's the way that I look at it. This is
I
no
can see
different
that.
than like, you know, Mama's got to sing tonight, so let me do fucking 600 milligrams of an edible.
Right.
It's just like if that's what you rely on, like what if there's a perfect storm and you're fucking killing it and you're about to go crush a room with 2,000 people in it, but you couldn't get your edible? Are you just gonna fucking bomb? You know, like again to quote Joey Diaz. I mean, he's just like people because that guy. I don't know if you know a lot about him, but the dude does like thousands
yeah.
of milligrams, and then people are always just like, dude, how are you even awake right now?
I
Like,
want one of those Death Stars.
Dude,
dude.
no, fuck you. Like I would,
want one of
yeah,
those.
dude, I would go into a coma.
Gummies don't do shit for me. I want to try something
If
strong.
this show
dude.
makes it episode 1,000, I'll do it. Like seriously, but like they're like, how do you do this? Like, are you scared? And the whole time he's like, oh, I have a fucking panic attack the entire time, and I'm like, what? Like that's how you
I'm
live?
freaking out,
He's
man.
like, I'm seeing the devil tonight. Ha ha! Like it's just, and I'm just like, what?
Yeah, that's the kind of
if
spirit I like.
If you
dude.
live on that, like that's how I feel about like whenever like I would hear like Maynard talk about like when they made fucking like Rosetta Stoned. And he's just like, yeah, we just locked ourselves in a fucking cabin and we just fucking got, you know, we just melted our minds. I'm like, cool,
Hell yeah.
you made a sweet fucking album. Like, you know, 10,000 Days is a dope album, but like, that's what I fear. That's why I don't like those things. Because I'm like, I don't want to rely on me going into just Dante's Inferno to have 5 solid minutes of good material.
Yeah, I mean, you know, pros and cons.
Yeah, let's agree to disagree. That was awesome. Dude, this has been so fucking fun. I genuinely appreciate you coming on. We're going to have part 2 back at yours as well. I would love to talk to you some more.
Dude, we'll keep trading episodes. I don't
Yeah,
care.
absolutely. We'll trades for trades, man. That's what it's about right now. Do you have anything to plug? Want to go ahead and plug your stuff?
Just Things Beyond Sound. Just add my link in the description if you can. Other than that, though, like, that's about it, man.
Things Beyond Sound, you said that you at least pump out 1 episode a week, right?
I try.
Try.
I don't succeed, but 1 a week is my goal.
Okay.
So it's usually like 2 or 3 a month.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Check out Things Beyond Sound with Spencer. He's an awesome fucking dude. interviews local Arizona musicians like we do here. A little bit more. I love your cozy spot. What do we say? Very Wayne's World.
Yeah, man.
Esque. I like it. Kind of matches. I like it. The vibe kind of reminds me of our vibe here.
Yeah, dude, I like it. I like all the pictures, all the posters. I need to step up my game, dude.
It's all right. You'll get there. This was a paint. Like I said, hey, we're not sponsored, but shout out to Brass Armadillo for supporting half this shit. Anything quirky and basement related. But no, man, thank you so very much. Patreon.com/Basement Productions if you want to support the show. $5, $10, $15 subscriptions. Remember, a $15 subscription gets you a one-of-a-kind beautiful dick drawings drawn by Christian himself. We have 4 happy customers so far. We got 96 more to go, so please, if you want to go ahead and support the show, ceasefiretoday.com if you want to get a little more educated on what's going on not in your neck of the woods. We love that as well here at the Basement Dwellers. And we will see you next week. Take care.
If you like what you heard, tap into their Instagram and Twitter. The information's right below with their email.
It's time you bit the bullet and started caring about something with all your heart and energy.
Be sure to log into the channel by subscribing and check out the previous episodes. But until then, we'll see you next week with a new one. We out for now.